counselor and a trainer of trainers. And with that, I'm going to introduce to you Raymond Ramos.
Thank you very much, Lavina. I very much appreciate the invitation. Um, I see a lot of individuals and organizations that you don't know me, but I know you and the impact you guys have had. I'm very, very grateful for the work you guys have done. I'm grateful for the opportunity. So, Lavina, you wave at me when it's time for me to be quiet, and I will be quiet. So this overdose awareness thing, I am someone who's in long-term recovery. And so my personal journey began with my family and my family members overdosing and my own personal struggle with addiction and recovery. And as per the topic, I want to share with you, I want to get right to one of, I have a son who died a day before his 20th birthday. I often tell people I needed one more day, right? I needed one more day to try to convince him to get some help. I needed one more day to try to give him my biggest speech to go get some help. And I have a son who died of a drug overdose, fentanyl related, a day before his 20th birthday. My best friend died of a drug overdose. Family members have died. So this overdose has touched me very, very personally. Addiction has touched me very personally. I have a lot of deaths, overdose related in my personal life. And so grief and overdose issues have become very, very personal and intimate. I tell people grief has a key to my house and comes whenever it wants. And so as someone who's in recovery, someone who's worked in the field, someone who's experienced an incredible loss of a son and what that means and what someone goes through, especially someone who's a helper, right? So I've been able to travel the world and try to reach as many addicts as possible, as many people who wrestle with addiction all over the world, and someone who's in personal recovery who I have a platform in the rooms. I have a platform in my religious pursuit. Someone who's helping many, many people, or trying to help many, many people, and break the stigma and let people know, talk about it before, there's so much shame and the stigma is still out there on addiction and having children who struggle with addiction, especially in the religious world, right? People don't want to talk about it and deal with it. They don't want to. I'm a pastor also. I'm involved in religion, and so religious people don't want to admit that there's addiction at home or there's a problem at home. And so working on a religious aspect, breaking the stigma, letting people know there's help available. There's many organizations, many workers all over the world that can help. It's hard when somebody in your own house dies of a drug overdose, when you're speaking to thousands every year, to have your boy, you help people in England, or you help people in Sweden, or you help people in wherever, but you can't help the boy that lives with you. That's an issue for a parent, especially a helper. And so I've always, since getting involved in recovery, I've been at war against addiction. I've been trying to help as many people as possible. But when my son died, it kind of put gasoline on that desire to help people, right? My oldest son also helps addicts on the streets, and we created organization and we did things as a result. And so, but being able to connect with other organizations, I just came from Las Vegas. Prior to Las Vegas, I was in Florida. I leave for Turkey on Monday night. I'll be in a 12-step conference this weekend. I'll be at a religious organization conference. I get to share with people about addiction. And I know sometimes there's better wording, so please forgive me if my words are not up to date as far as or people who might need help. And I get to share and I get to let people know that help is available. That it's more of a shame not to get help than the shame of what you might feel by having someone who has a problem or having a problem yourself. And so I'm very grateful that I get to do something about what I've been through personally, family-wise. We provide different services. And one of the things that I'm grateful about is, like, I see this screen here, and there's a saying, one of my mentors. If it doesn't matter what logo or what brand name is on if we can work together and put what differences we have aside to work and help people, a lot more can get done. If it doesn't matter who gets the credit, a lot more can be done. And I've been able to work, with Vina, and there's some people here I don't want to, been able to get together and carry a message of hope and breaking the stigma, letting people know help is available, and going through what I've been through, helping people go through the grieving process and how to profit from your pain, how to make sense from this bullet I have in my heart. How do I make sense of it? I can't change what happened to my son. I can't change the fact that he lost his battle against addiction. But can I help somebody else's son? Can I equip someone as a trainer of trainers? Can I equip someone that's going to help someone else? What can I do to have a positive impact from a very painful and negative situation? How can I make the best out of the worst? I don't want to drown in grief. I don't want to drown in sorrow. I don't want to allow what I've been through to keep. I don't want to stay stuck in that scenario, that situation. Very painful. It's talking about it. It's very, but I want to be able to help somebody else's son. I want my life. I want my son's life to make sense somehow. I want to be able to let people know you can be a pastor who's, whatever successful, you could be a religious worker. You could be someone who's in long-term. You could be a clinician. You could be a founder of and this thing will rush into your house and attack the people you love the most. And help is available. And by letting people know my story, as again, a religious leader, clergyman, and as someone who's in long-term recovery over 3 decades, and someone I get to speak to different genres of people, different venues. Addiction is, I guess, I think is every 5 minutes. Is it every 5 minutes someone's dying of a drug overdose? I think that's the new calculation. Every 5 minutes, someone's dying of an overdose, in America. And so to be able to work across religious organizations, social organizations, to work with, all over 12-step fellowships, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to let people know, listen, this thing does not respect who you are, how much money you got, what you believe in, what religion, what God you claim, whatever. There's still a great battle ahead of us. And together we can do more than we can do individually. And so when I get an invitation like this, I like to take advantage of it. And so being someone who's doing, from my little, I can't do everything, but from my little perspective, doing what I can do, especially in the religious world, Christianity, in Baptist churches, Pentecostal churches, breaking this, letting them know, just prayer is wonderful, but sometimes people need more than prayer, and I'm a man of prayer, but there's help available. There's people you can contact. Don't stay silent. Don't suffer in silence. And so, yes, I'm grateful that I get to help people. I'm grateful I get to add value. I'm grateful I get to, that from my pain, someone else can learn. From my experience, someone can get hope. There's a lot of power. I'm not the only person who's had to bury a son. I had to bury 2 sons, one of a drug overdose, one in a car accident at 17 years old. I'm not the only one. I get to let people know you can get through these things. Again, there's help available. There's people you can talk to. So I get to do this, and I'm grateful. Recovery coach, Serpo, all this different. I get to work in different fields. Learning. I'm from Williamsburg, Brooklyn, so I learned from an organization no longer exists, but Musica Against Drugs was an organization in my area. Manny Maldonado, and they started something in my community that to help addicts and to harm reduction, and it grew, and I'm one of the fruit from that. I came out of that. And I got my recovery. I became a recovery coach when it first started, and I trained recovery coaches all over the world. And I'm grateful for that. I'm not trying to boast or anything. I'm grateful that I'm sitting under the shade because someone else planted a tree many years ago, and I'm able to let other people know that help is available. So as a parent who's lost a child, as a person who's in recovery, as a clergyman from a biblical perspective, who a lot of people don't understand addiction, and from a biblical perspective, as a clinician, and I'm very grateful for the opportunities afforded for me, and I'm grateful for you guys out there. I'm grateful that you guys are doing this. Like I said,
Ray, you got about 2 minutes remaining.
Okay, thank you very much. So in my last 2 minutes, I want to say that community has saved my life. Community, not just going in my room praying by myself. God loves me and I do that, but community, letting people know what I'm going through, talking to people with experience, people who are trained, people like you. So I'm grateful. Louis, it's great to see your face. Wilvina, thank you for the opportunity. God bless you guys. Raymond Ramos, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ray.
Ray, thank you.
Thank you.
Loved it. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Ray, you're everywhere. God bless you, brother.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
So Louis is going to introduce our next presenter. Louis, you're muted.
Yes. Okay, got it. So our next presenter is somebody that I admire. Many of us here have seen him grow throughout the years with a very strong recovery capital. We have Eduardo Santiago, who is not on the screen. Eduardo.
I was on the other phone and eating a popsicle. I just got here from the fair. All right, 'cause we were throwing the fair. I got here 5 minutes before the meeting started.
Well, it's only 5 minutes before the miracle.
And the last person I waved to was Albert. Did you have something? Hey, Albert. Anyway, guys, my name is Eduardo. I came into the Oasis alumni back when Willie Towns' back didn't hurt, back in 2012.
Recording in progress.
I was fortunate enough. I'm an alumni from Basics first. I went in, didn't know if I was going to make it 30 days. 50 days later, I'm running the house as the senior coordinator. I got trained by people like Albert,